Yeah, I tell you a secret. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is what hurt me. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm just seeing who I can add in here. Ooh, I'm just seeing who I can add in here. All right. Let's see. So, how art thou, sir?
I was like, add me. I'm supposed to be in here, right?
Right.
Oof, I look rough.
It's all right. We all do.
Okay, I feel better about my face.
Raj!
What's up, Rise?
Tired Tuesdays, yep.
Let's see. What are we playing? What are we playing? Can I start off with with a selection?
Sure can.
Okay, let's start off with a selection. Hmm.
Oh, look, a mess
Okay.
right there.
Uh-huh. Okay. There we go.
I always do this. Gotta get up. Craig, what you do? Lisa and Jay.
Number 21.
Oh.
Girls get home.
That was good.
When the world feels like it's started.
Oh, don't know what to do. Authentic.
Gotta get away.
Hey,
Gotta
you
get
gotta get
away.
away.
Everybody here.
That's like a good Khalees.
Yes.
Oh, you
Anybody who
can
was
say,
anybody who was born after 2001, y'all don't know about this.
Nope.
If you're like 18, 17, you have no idea what's happening right now.
What? None whatsoever.
What a whistle! Oh.
That was such a dope album.
Yes.
And they only released it overseas. Didn't they re-release it?
They finally re-released it to streaming services like a couple years ago, but
Oh,
they
okay.
released it overseas.
I gotta play that because that album was so dope.
I have a whole like Khalees playlist where it plays the albums in like chronological order.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
That's a lot of Khalees.
it's a lot of Khalees. There's a lot of questionable notes.
But it's all good. Hey, Todd.
Yes. What's going on, people? What's going on? So,
How's everybody doing today, though?
oh wait, you know what I didn't do? I didn't invite my people. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's keep this going for a second. Oh, oh, oh.
Gotta get away. Home.
What's for you? It's relatives and close. Leave it all behind.
You gotta get away.
Gotta get away. Everybody.
I wonder if I'm in time with you right now.
Okay. I only ever make it to like the C's. I never get to go like all the way through the alphabet.
You should start at the C's next time and then go down.
That's what I'll do next time. Everybody else should already know to come in here.
Right.
What up, Brian? Okay, we got
what's going on?
Amen. All right. So welcome to Tired Tuesdays.
Welcome to Tired Tuesdays.
That's not our theme song.
I know. I know.
And yeah, it's actually been a very non-eventful week.
thus far.
Yeah. Well, like between last episode and this week, not too much has happened.
Oh, that. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I feel like we actually had a chance to breathe through all the drama.
Right.
You know, I did injure myself again, but it was only a small injury. Cut my finger, breaking down some boxes, sliced it open. Lots of fun.
Yeah, he is prone to injury lately.
Because I don't be in the house this much. Well, I do, but I need to get out the house. That's what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get. I lined myself up. I hope it looks great because I feel like, yeah, I should have wrote it down just a little bit more.
Listen, I put up a request on Facebook if there was any barbers in the area that could make house calls.
Right.
My family started fussing at me. They was like, "Don't you do it!" I'm like, mind your business.
Right.
If I want a haircut, I'm gonna get a haircut.
Okay.
But yeah. Anywho, so how was everyone's week? What's going on? How everybody doing?
Oh, thanks, Ty.
Compliment me.
My week thus far has
Say
been
something
great.
nice about my hair. Even though it's not really doing what it's supposed to do. Let's see. Have y'all been paying attention to the 6ix9ine Billboard situation? Only slightly, because it has nothing to do with me.
The 6ix9ine Billboard situation. What's going on with it?
Okay, so I'm gonna do
I
this
don't
real
keep up with
quick,
6ix9ine.
as quick as I possibly can. I'm gonna do this as quick as I possibly can because I do not want to talk about that boy at all. 6ix9ine was released from prison. He went home, made a new single and a brand new video, and
Right.
he was competing on the charts against Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande, who also released a single. And
Okay.
he's saying that because his single was number 3, thank you for the love on my blonde hair. Since his single was number 3 and their single went to number 1, he was accusing them of using bundles for merchandise to get their single to number 1. And he publicly put up a video saying that Billboard was cheating the system and causing his single to be lower than theirs. So Ariana responded saying nothing about him, was just like, I don't like when people try to say that I'm, not using integrity behind my business, but I do everything for the love of music, not for numbers. Then Scooter Braun came out and was like, yeah, that's cute and all that you feel that way, but there was an investigation done on YouTube about a whole, like 6 times the number of normal bots that do likes on YouTube videos. And he didn't mention any names either. He was just like, there was an investigation that was going on, but it wasn't about us. Then Justin Bieber was like, yeah, it's not just Ariana Grande song, it's both of our songs. So if you're going to say something about her, say something about me too.
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
really interesting to see all this good Caucasian disorder. I'm like,
Lord, I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Now,
I heard the 6ix9ine song, and I saw pieces of the video, and I was like, it's typical. It's him screaming and stuff like that. But like, I didn't think anything of it at all.
The problem is that
what's up, Mom?
I do believe that there is some truth to what he's saying about the numbers being skewed in different directions based on who's controlling the numbers.
Right.
But again, these are problems that normal people don't have to deal with. And when I say normal people, I mean normal artists.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, if you're in control of your music and you're in control of everything that you're doing, why are you worried?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, these are people who are owned by labels that are desperate to make ends meet because right now they're not getting those shows.
Right.
So the only thing that they can bank off of is these high streaming numbers and these high sales.
But it doesn't. I mean, but he was like, he's number 3. What's the problem with number 3? Like, you still in the top 5 and in the top 10. Like, so what? I mean, everybody wants to be number 1, but just accept your achievement. Like,
remember we were talking about before. I think Joe Budden might have talked about this on his podcast. That certain record deals have clauses where if you don't reach a certain number or make a certain number ones in your career based off the contract that you signed, then they can drop you or you owe them money. So when you see these fights for number 1 and people publicly saying stuff about being number 1, a lot of that is because they're obligated by their labels to reach certain Billboard numbers.
I forgot about that aspect, but And even that is like, that's so extra. Like, why would you want to subject yourself? Because you don't really know what's going to be a number one. A number one isn't guaranteed unless you're paying for it. You know what I mean?
He said that someone from their label that released the Ariana Justin song used 3 credit cards to buy an exponential number of the single. And so then the label, like Billboard, had to come out and say, we don't do anything like of the sort. They didn't talk about their numbers or their expense reports, but they said, we don't have that type of process here. We're not, buying singles and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes, y'all are. Stop it. You are.
What?
And, I believe that you are. And I believe that, yes, the numbers are skewed. Do I care about the numbers being skewed against him? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Do I care that the numbers are skewed? Not really as an independent artist, because I know I'm probably never going to hit those numbers. But at the end of the day, I honestly feel like those numbers are just like pointless anyway. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like there was the big beef between Beyonce and Meg and Cardi. I mean, not Cardi. Doja and Nicki.
Right.
Between them being number 1 and number 2. And it's like, at the end of the day, who cares?
Right.
Those numbers don't mean that the song is good. It just means the song is popular.
Right. Right.
You don't know that. I haven't even heard the Ariana Grande Justin Bieber song, so I don't know what it sounds like. I don't care.
I heard it. It was cute.
Okay.
It was an unexpected duet. Like, I would never expect them to do a song together. So it was kind of awkward to me listening to it. That's just my take on it.
You know why I expect it? Because they're both managed by Scooter Braun, so it was going to happen eventually.
True.
And because everybody, what's the name of the song? Stuck in the House or something like that, or Stuck with You?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if everybody's doing songs for the Corona. We get it. It's a gimmick song.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So back to normal stuff. That's our thoughts on this whole 6ix9ine Ariana Grande Justin Bieber fiasco.
Y'all just educated me. Y'all just educated me because I had no idea about any of it. So
honestly, I feel like people who are chart chasers are worried about the quality of their work and the longevity of their careers. Because that's really all it is. As long as you stay in the top 10, that guarantees you a spot in the industry.
I feel, they just want the clout of the numbers.
Exactly.
That's really what it is. Like, they're not really focused on the content of it. They just want to know if the song is potential hit quality and if it can, stack the numbers that they need to stay in their contracts or stay boastful. And that's about it. Like, yeah.
So I'm not even really like, I'm not beat.
Right.
I'm not beat over it.
That's like, you know what? That's like numbers in general, because everybody pays attention to how many even followers you have, how many Twitter followers you have, how many Facebook followers you have. And that is people's way now of actually giving you a cosign. Like, your numbers now are your cosign to say, okay, this person is eligible to listen to because they have 100,000 followers. So now I need to catch up because it seems like 100,000 people already know who this person is. Mm-hmm. Like, instead of just checking out the artist just because, I don't know, you like the picture or whatever, like, everybody goes to the numbers first. They have to see the numbers. And even these record labels, everything is off of numbers, and it doesn't make any sense because anybody can have numbers.
It does make sense because record labels are banks and all they do is deal with numbers.
But still, those numbers don't even really guarantee that everybody's even paying attention to everything that you're doing.
No, what I'm saying is the labels don't care about whether we're paying attention. The labels care about making their money back. They like to give the money out for the creation of the project, and then make sure they're going to get that back to do other stuff.
Right, but a lot of times, a lot of people's numbers are not real. Like, you know what I mean? These big time artists, you know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, what is that subjected to?
The labels create the numbers. We know that the big 3 labels own stock shares in all the DSPs and streaming services. So they're going to boost those numbers and pay for those numbers to be boosted for those artists.
Oh, yeah. When it comes to streaming services, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. When it comes to streaming services.
Yeah. And
I'm talking about like Instagrams and all of that type of stuff.
Oh, I didn't get there yet.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
still on Billboard.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, we was on two
but
different pages. Oops.
yeah, so
But
they're
yeah,
paying for those numbers to be bolstered to make their artists look more popular than what they actually are. And then
hell
when
yeah.
you have those numbers that make them look like they're more popular, then they're going to affect the numbers that you see on Instagram and social media, because people
Yeah,
say, oh, they're popular, I have to follow them because they must be important. When the
right.
numbers are fake, you know what I'm saying? Like, it all goes hand in hand. So
Yeah,
it's all a game that's controlled by the industry. It's controlled by the people that control it. And it really doesn't do any service to the artist or the listener.
right,
You know,
right,
I
right,
think that at this point, people just got to stop paying attention. Like, Beyonce don't care about number one.
right.
She could give two shits. Like, she's made her money. She's going to keep making her money. And she's going
Yep.
to keep putting out the music that she wants to put out. And every time she puts out music, it's quality.
Yeah,
She's not worried about it just being popular. You
right,
know?
right.
So,
And that's the thing. We have to get back. A lot of artists just have to get back to just the art of it. But, I don't even want to say get back to it, because there are a lot of artists that we don't even know about, that are art focused, that are about the musicality of the music, that are about, building long careers and expounding on what's heard right now on the radio, and doing something left of that, you know what I mean,
yeah.
and not being afraid. And that's really what it's about. Like, at the end of the day, like, these numbers and all of this other type of stuff, like, you get caught in these contracts and sell your soul, and can't sleep at night because you didn't work hard enough to get this, and it's not worth killing yourself. It's really not. It's really not.
Which brings us to our next topic. Great segue. But before I say what the next topic is, let me just say hi to some people, because Trey was in here like waving frantically. What's up, Trey?
Oh, what's up, Trey?
He wanted a personal hello.
Okay.
My sis Tamaya's in the room.
Tamaya.
I hope my baby's doing all right, little baby Magnus. Okay, so I had this thought, and it kind of makes sense in the topic of what we're talking about, which
Okay.
is, do you still consider an artist if they only put music out like once? Like, can you call an artist a true artist if you've only gotten one thing from them, if they've only put out like one thing, or if they only put out something very, very seldomly, like a Frank Ocean who put something out and then you don't hear from him for like 7-8 years, or a Lauryn Hill who's pretty much only put out one album. Do we still consider them true artists in the sense of the word? Like, does quantity equal quality?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't think so. I think even when it comes to, if you just dropped a single, I wouldn't necessarily say you're an artist just yet, because there's no idea of who you are yet. You know what I mean? We don't understand, an audience doesn't really get a chance to understand where your creative path is and if it's worth following you just yet. But if you have put out a body of work, now you can get an idea of who that person is. Like, for Lauryn Hill, like, I will definitely say that she is a artist. You know what I mean? She put out a solid body of work that was reflective of her. And yeah, and she doesn't necessarily have to drop anything. I don't know. I wouldn't mind a Lauryn Hill project, but I don't know if it would be, the Lauryn Hill we remember, or a new version of her. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I think an artist is still an artist. I think if you just drop maybe one, maybe two songs, it's still kind of, I wouldn't exactly call you an artist just yet. Until, me personally, until I'm able to experience your body of work.
Because I,
what do you feel?
In my listening to music while I'm working from home,
right.
Somehow, I don't know how I got onto it, but I started listening to, I was listening to Tina Turner for some reason.
All right.
And that brought me to some weird songs just randomly.
Okay.
And so then I happened upon Desiree.
Oh, you gotta be strong. You gotta be wild.
Yes.
You gotta be together.
She's only put out one album.
Really?
And that album was actually dope. Do
It
we
was.
consider her an artist? Because she really only blew up off of what, 2 songs? She had You Gotta Be, and then she had Kissing You, and that was pretty much it. Like, can we consider a one-hit wonder an artist?
Ooh, but what is a one-hit wonder though?
Somebody that only had one hit.
But if they had one album that did successful, like, do you say you call that a one album wonder?
I mean, technically, yeah, because I'm pretty sure that there was a song from the album that hit. You know, if the album became critically acclaimed at some point, I'm sure that, you know, there was a song or two that definitely hit from that album. But
Okay, now if she was hands on this project and she was writing those songs and collectively building this music together with someone or by herself, then I would say yes, she is an artist, because she had an agenda. There was an idea. There was something that she needed to get out. You know what I mean? That is what I will say as an artist. Now, if you are constructed by industry standards and they're giving you these songs like boom, 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 then I wouldn't exactly call you an artist. I would call you a product.
Aha. Okay. Because, and while you were saying that, I was thinking, you have, see, before I'm an artist, I feel like I'm an artist, right? But not just because I can sing and I put out projects. I think because of the fact that I can create by myself, whether it's production, whether it's writing, whether it's recording, because I can create, that makes me an artist.
Right.
And not having a body of work, if I can still create it, even if I'm creating for somebody else, I think that can be considered being an artist. But then you have people, I hate to say these names, then you have people like Whitney Houston.
Okay.
I don't consider her an artist.
I to be honest with you, I never have.
Okay.
I've only considered Whitney Houston a vocalist.
She's a singer.
Like, that's a singer.
But
like,
then I consider Janet Jackson an artist.
I do too. I consider Janet Jackson an artist.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think an artist is somebody who has something to say. You know what I mean? Like, there's an intention behind your work. Like, there's a purpose behind it. Not to say that Whitney didn't have those, because she understood, like, you know what I mean? There were some understanding that she was with Clive Davis a little bit sometimes to pick the songs, but I mean, for the majority, Clive picked her songs. But but at the end of the day, I feel like an artist has something to say, and that really defines you.
Gotcha. So maybe the real question is, what is the difference between an artist and a product? Because I think there are a lot of products running around and not enough artists. Yeah,
no, this is very true.
Specifically in the industry, like in the major industry, there are a lot of products and not artists. And that's how you get things like these chart battles, because it really is about products against products. Like, everybody's an advertisement. They're a walking advertisement for their music.
Yeah. Or for somebody else.
Yeah. And at that point, it's almost like us be damned as consumers, because basically, like, do we like this window cleaner over this window cleaner? It's just that this window cleaner had a feature from Beyonce, but this window cleaner had a feature from Nicki.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, it literally is based on sales and based on the attention that we give it.
Right.
But then we'll never know that somebody made this from nature organic window cleaner that tears the shit out the dirt on a window.
Right.
It happens to be made by a company that's lesser known.
Right.
And then it gets pushed down in the advertisements because it's not as popular as the name brand.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's dope, to figure out who wants to be an artist and who wants to be a product, and that really can determine how you navigate your career. It can determine how you really like package your products, or your music. It can determine your fan base. It can determine your opportunities.
Yes, it can.
And it can determine your longevity.
Yeah, this is very true.
Do we believe that someone can be both an artist and a product?
I believe Uh, yeah, I believe an artist can become a product because, okay, I believe an artist can become a product only if the artist has done something to change the scope of pop culture
Mm.
or make a name for themselves with what they have presented to the world to where it becomes popular or something like that. Like then that becomes a standard of a product. You know what I mean? Like I believe in the beginning, Beyonce was a product. Like Destiny's Child, that whole thing was a product. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, she then evolved into an artist, which then her artistry became a
The new
product.
product.
Yeah.
The new and improved Beyonce.
Right. Right.
I feel like this is going to sound crazy and it's going to sound shady as hell, and I don't mean for it too. I believe that Alicia Keys, they were trying to make her go from product to artist, and she stayed product. Like
Really?
and it's crazy to say that because I know that she plays piano, she writes her own songs, she's supposed to be very like soulful and all that kind of stuff, but I still feel like it's very contrived. I still feel like there's something non-genuine about it.
Gotcha.
I feel like because she had the privilege of being pretty and light-skinned, that she got way more attention, which to me made her the product. I think
Gotcha.
she doesn't want to be a product. I think she wants to be an artist.
Right.
But because of what the industry has done for her career, it's turned her into this commodity. Whereas in contrast, you have India Ari, who's always been an artist, and I think wanted to be the product.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? And I think she had just kind of given up on being the product and I'm just gonna be India Ari. You know, I don't know if that's fair to say, but I do
Wow.
feel like because they tried to put the two of them together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I
she
remember
was
that.
winning all the awards over
Yeah.
India, and it's
Hmm.
almost like I don't know, like I would have loved for them both to become both, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I would have
Same.
loved for India to be a household name, for her to be just as big as Alicia Keys, doing the same type of tours and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I also feel like a lot of it has to do with her being dark skinned. A lot of it
Yeah.
has to do with her being a bigger girl. A lot of
Yeah.
it has to do with her not being quintessentially beautiful. You
Right.
know, so she could never, by industry standards, be the product.
Right.
And I think they do that with a lot of soul artists. They
So
just
they
stick us
capture it.
into being the artist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
They
keep us
capture it.
as being the artist and not the product. And it's like, we gotta wait, India as opposed to who? Alicia Keys. Uh, but there's gotta be a way for us to either bridge the gap or bust through the ceiling
Yeah.
so that artistry itself can become the product.
Right.
You know? Yeah, just a thought.
That's so crazy. I know I'm not going to be able to find this particular quote, but I have been reading. Let me go get it so I can share with everybody.
Dun, 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 dun. It's our live show. It's okay, just stay with us and we'll keep talking while he finds the book and reads the quote. Amen.
So I have been reading this.
That's
It's
backwards.
probably backwards, but it's Prince, the Beautiful Woman. And I honestly wish that he was still alive to have finished this book the way that he really wanted to finish it, per his vision for this book. But they did their best to piece what they had from him. But he talks a lot about artistry and the product. You know what I mean? And not being the product. You know what I mean? How
come on in the frame. Come on in the frame.
Oh.
There we go. Amen.
You scoot on
to the left.
I know my seat got wheels on it. Yeah, he talks a lot about, embracing that artistry and understanding that freedom of who you are, beginning to understand who you are. So this way you become something new for the industry as opposed to something that's just a repeat in the industry. Because, and then he actually has a note in here where he's getting, let me see if I can find it, where he has this like side note. because I have highlighted the mess out of this book. You hear me? And for anybody that's wondering, I am definitely a Prince fan, and this opened my eyes to so much, and I see so many parallels with his life and my own. I don't know where is that, but yeah, if I find it, I'll find it. But he makes this mention of how he said that he wants to make mention that there's too much Ed Sheeran on the radio and there's too much something else, and he says their names. Like, Prince had no qualms with calling folks out, and he was like, because it's just too much of the same basic music, and he was like, there's really no like substance in it.
But you know what? That's a really good example, because on the surface, you would immediately just consider Ed Sheeran an artist.
Correct.
But if you think about it, he is packaged like a product.
Yeah.
And you don't really know where the authenticity lies.
But you know what? This brings up another thing, because you were talking about India Irie. Mm-hmm. What's up, Jinx? You were talking about India Irie, and in comparison, the industry will frame and present Ed Sheeran, who's not your typical beauty, attractive person, but he plays and he writes and he does all this other type of stuff. So you throw that out there as his gimmick, mm-hmm. to coax the product. You know what I mean? To give it some advertisement. But for India, that wasn't given. She could write and she could produce too as well. But they didn't frame that in a package to throw it out there to say, yes, this is the new what you need to be paying attention to. You know what I mean?
What they did was they said, this package that we're trying to make with India is only going to sell to a certain demographic because she's a dark-skinned, thick black girl from the Midwest that plays the guitar and sings real nice. But we've also got this light-skinned, half-white black girl that plays the piano from New York who's got pretty hair and pretty skin. Right. And we can sell this to America because she looks more like them.
This is also true.
But
Ed Sheeran is a redhead. And so,
as talented as Ed Sheeran is, he's still going to get the pass as a white man, because how many black male artists do we know that do that on the regular?
Right.
We know that Van Hunt was one of those, and he got replaced by Robin Thicke. We know that Usher,
and Van Hunt was amazing. If y'all don't know Van Hunt's music, please search those first two albums especially.
Mm-hmm. We know that Usher, they tried to replace him with Justin Timberlake. We know that Chris Brown, they tried to replace with Justin Bieber. So there's always going to be the counterpart that's, I guess, more marketable, they'll say.
Right.
Instead of just saying they're being racist.
Right.
But a lot of the artists that are products or marketable, they're just not true artists in the sense, or there's something that just seems like a little bit off, where it's like, okay, I definitely think you're talented. I just don't know if you're an artist.
Right.
Because even with Ed Sheeran, his sound is still a copy of what black artists have been doing for years.
Yeah.
He just happens to do it with an Irish accent.
Right.
Or wherever he's from.
Right. Because every time I hear that, especially those reggae songs by Ed Sheeran, it's just like, I'm like, but I don't know. There's something special about him doing the folk music that actually stands out more for me when he does that.
But he didn't get known for doing the folk music. He got known for rapping and playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Like Shape of You, if, say, Davido came out with Shape of You, do we know that it would be as big with Davido instead of it being Ed Sheeran?
Right. Right.
And it's not to take anything away from their talent, because that's not the question at the end of the day. Everyone is talented, because they wouldn't even have these deals and we wouldn't even be talking about them. But I think that if you're going to consider yourself an artist, you kind of have to either do away totally with the product form of it, or you have to strategically make being a product part of your whole game plan.
Right.
I know with us, we, as independent artists, we still have to market ourselves in a certain way that's attractive to our audiences and attractive to new audiences. I would say that I have it a little bit tougher because I'm a big black boy, you know, darker skin. You might have it a little bit easier than me because you're a smaller, light-skinned black boy. So you might,
I'm brown.
you're light-skinned. And, you know, the audiences are different. So I might have to work harder. But then after a certain point in time, I might not feel like working. I might just be like, listen, y'all don't like this music or not. I really don't care.
Right.
You know, but that's also why I got to keep a day job and keep these bills paid, you know? So it's weird how the industry works because it puts all these different guidelines on what you can actually do with your own artistry.
Yeah.
You know, instead of it just being something that's naturally you or naturally your gift.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So those are my thoughts. I thought that was an interesting topic about, you know, knowing who you are as an artist and knowing who you're expected to be as a product.
Right.
So, he is light skinned.
I was like, there's a whole argument. I am not light skinned. I am brown.
Y'all
okay.
See the difference. His mom here, she can tell you he light skinned.
I am brown.
And then I guess that can lead us to our next topic. Last night we had the privilege, I'll call it a privilege because I had fun, thought it was dope, of joining some people in a Zoom call last night. Hosted by our very own Craig, who's in the room tonight.
Yes, he is. Shout out, Craig.
He does a Zoom call every Monday from 7 to 9. With, you know, different indie artists or creatives, and just, you know, everybody is sharing their thoughts on artistry, on the business, on anything. And it was a lot of fun because I didn't realize how many people still don't know a lot of things about the industry or still don't know about the business side of it, or they still talk about your light skin. I cannot.
My mother said, I am coffee with extra cream. I am done. Hang up, Mom.
Christmas hot chocolate am I, and I'm okay with that. Just give me a couple marshmallows and I'll be all right.
I can't.
So one of the people in the Zoom call, I was asking everybody like where they're from and how they've been dealing with things during the current pandemic or whatever. And they said that they were concerned about comparing themselves to other people online in social media, and how he felt like maybe he wasn't doing enough compared to everybody else just going, you know, ham with promotion, going ham with, you know, putting out music and whatever. And it's like, how do y'all even have the time? Like, I just want to be in the bed. Like, how are y'all doing all this stuff? And it was just a really interesting take because I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, your thoughts, because I talked a lot last night. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, I just let you talk because you was doing it. Like,
I forgot.
Like, that was your first time in there, and you was holding class. I was with it. I was all the way with it. But no, I mean, my thoughts on it. It's because we now have the attention to pay attention to everybody. It gives the perception that everybody's doing a lot. And in your mind's eye, you can have the tendency to combine a bunch of people's efforts into one person and then be thinking that this one person is doing so much. And then everybody begins to be doing so much when everybody ain't really doing that much because you just really can't, you know what I mean? Unless you're doing a consistent amount of lives, you know, and after a while you start to drain your audience, you know what I mean? You don't want to do too many of them because then it becomes like this whole thing. Cause then it's like, what else you want to talk about? Cause ain't nothing else going on in the world besides Corona and Nicki and Beyonce and 6ix9ine and Corona again. And then Corona some more. And then with a little extra side of Corona. So it's like, there's no other things to talk about. You know what I mean? So like, and you don't want to sing your audience to death because then it kind of it starts to take away from the mystique of everything though too as well. Like, you know, like.
You know what I think? I think, and this is something that I should have mentioned last night. I think independent artists specifically, major artists as well, but I think with independent artists, we have a fear of being forgotten.
This is very true. Very true.
I feel like we are pressured into doing the most because, number one, there's always another bigger artist who's going to capture somebody's attention. And then number two, we're competing against other independent artists for that attention that's left over from the bigger artist.
Right.
And it's like, at some point, we have to realize that we are not competing with anyone. This is why I hate the whole numbers conversation, because it's like you're looking at these numbers that make you think that that's the end goal. You look at these numbers and think, oh my God, I'm not number one on the charts. Like I saw somebody today, they're putting out a new single and they're doing pre-orders for it. And they're already posting that their pre-order is on the list of R&B singles in the top charts on iTunes. And I'm like, okay, but I haven't even heard the song. I don't care that your song is in the chart because I don't even know what it sounds like. And then based off of that, if you drop off that chart, are you now going to bombard me with something else?
Yeah.
Because you're afraid of being forgotten? Worry about your audience. Worry about who fucks with you.
Right.
You know, and then cater to them. That's what I told them last night. I was like, if you cater to the people that you know really support you, then they will tell people about you. They will tell someone else. And that will grow your audience. But to feel like, you know, scared to just do you because you're seeing everybody else do the most. And honestly, they're really not doing a lot if we're going to really compare it. You know, I know people talk about, they say that we have the same 24 hours in a day that Beyonce has. No, we don't, because we don't have the same budget. So at the end of the day, nobody can really do the most if they don't have the budget to do the most.
Right. Right. And then a lot of us work, have day jobs, have night jobs. You know what I mean? That's not the same hours in the day as Beyonce. Beyonce got her whole 24 hours. She can do whatever she wants with her whole 24 hours.
With her whole entire staff. With her whole entire staff that works for her. And her 18 assistants. And, you know, and she probably got the twins working too. So,
right. Exactly. Exactly.
So it's like,
Julie's probably watching this when she can't. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
we really got to stop being afraid to be our authentic artist selves when we know that the industry is so convoluted and we know that the industry is so fake. Like, who are we really competing against?
Right.
If anything, collectively as indie artists, I wish there was like an indie industry, you know what I mean, that could literally take over the world the way that the major industry has. So that way they'd have something to be afraid of. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would like to see. Because just the fact that I know now that there are so many people that are out here that don't know about the business, they don't know about the industry, they don't know about just the smaller things about the industry. There's a lot of education that needs to happen. There's a lot of experience that needs to happen that they're not getting from Instagram. They're not getting it from social media. They're not getting it from the major industry.
Right.
You know? So we really got to like come together and support each other so that we know that we're not fighting against each other. And we're not bound to industry standards and numbers. Right.
But there's number one, there's an audience for everybody. Yes. And everybody needs to embrace that. Regardless of how big that audience is, should not be a factor. You need to just understand that there is an audience for everybody. Because what will happen is if you cater to that audience that is automatically yours, those people will share that stuff and your audience will expand. You know what I mean? But damn. Lost my train of thought. Go ahead. And I had something good. It was something on the tip of my tongue.
There's an audience for everybody. And, you know, I think that cross-promotion is great. And I also feel like staying in your lane is good too. Yeah. You know, if you know what you do is good for you and people that like it, stick with that.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Don't try to fit into these boxes. You know what I mean? We're not shapes. That's just not what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, don't fit into these industry boxes. And because trap music is popping, you get into, you know what I mean? Like, you get into the trap phase. And if you do get into the trap phase, do something different with it. You know what I mean? Approach it a little bit different. We have the tendency to, as artists sometimes, to be so watered down. We'll water down our own industry to be on the side of something likable when that's not really the direction that you're supposed to be in, and not understanding that artistry that's in you, that's the core of you, could potentially change the game. But you won't embrace that because you're too busy trying to follow a trend instead of being the trend. You know what I mean? So like, it's like own your artistry and own it at 100%, and don't allow people to tell you what it is, what it's gonna be like, who heard it, you know, and who's gonna hear it. You know what I mean? You keep pushing your thing, and I tell you again, this book has inspired me. You know what I mean? Like seriously, because I've been at fault of that, following trends and listening to too many people try to direct my artistry in a particular way. And now, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, fuck that. Like, you're not going to tell me because this is the type of music that you like is that I'm supposed to do that. Like, if that's not what I feel, you're not going to change who I am to fit into a box and then say, oh, later on in your career, my third album, you'll be able to do what you want. I've been fed that story before. That shit don't work. You know what I mean? And if you don't have a machine behind you that can fully support that, people remember you by the first thing you put out. They really do.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And I use Prince as an example. Prince said no to 2 record deals in the beginning because he did not have full control, and he was 15. He later on signed his first deal with Warner because they gave him full fucking control. Like, that is standing on your artistry and saying, like, yo, I am going to make sure that I am heard. And you ain't gonna be putting me in a box.
Right.
And then look at it, he became a fucking legend.
Yeah.
So we have legends inside of us, but yet, you know, we too busy trying to fit into a box of somebody else, thinking, you know, you follow the cool trend.
What is the thing that I always say? I always say that we are independent artists and we can do whatever we want.
Right.
Yeah.
Ever we want. Yeah.
Let's pause for the cause. Apparently something's wrong with the sound. I don't know if it's you or me.
I don't know. I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything either. Do I sound like that too?
Do I sound underwater?
I think you sound underwater, yeah.
Oh, great. Well, I don't know.
That's all right. Season 3 coming soon.
Okay.
We're going to upgrade this whole thing.
I don't know.
I can still hear you. It just sounds a little like distorted, but it's cool.
It does?
It doesn't now.
I don't know. Maybe I was covering the thing.
Possibly. Sing something for the people. Let's do a sound check. Sing something. Not that. I was going to say sing something for real, but that's also okay.
Oh. Oh. I just want more, babe. I just want more.
Yeah, so there's something wrong with the mic.
I can give you more. So let's be more, babe. I don't know.
Okay. And that's the other thing. I mean, like, during this pandemic, everybody's trying to do the most on bad internet connections. So let's just chill out. Like, everybody's at the same level right now. We've seen it with our own eyes that the celebrities and the people that got millions of dollars do not know how to work their phones. They don't know how to do Instagram lives. They don't know how to, like, actually be on time for their Instagram lives.
Right.
Right. So ain't nobody better than nobody else. We all doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, let's stop with the comparisons and the contrasts. Like, we're good. Now, yeah. I do know that I believe that Beyonce got an album in the tuck that she about to drop at some point. I feel it in my spirit, and it's going to shut everybody down and change the industry yet again.
Of course.
But until that happens, I'm going to keep doing me, and I'm going to keep, you know, doing what I do best for me.
Right. Right.
I ain't worried about nobody else.
Right. And that's what it's about. No. Don't be the product, be the artist.
Exactly. Or make artistry the product.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we still like a good coin. We still like to get paid for our
services.
Amen.
Right.
Y'all and I'm not saying pay for it.
And I don't want to confuse this with, like, you know, like, okay, so all your songs and whatever you present to the world has to be like super, you know, conscious and all kinds of other stuff like that. It could be simply the way you approach music. You know what I mean? It could simply be the way that you write your songs. It could be a simple way of how you arrange your music. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be all extra self-conscious and all kinds of other stuff like that to be of substance. You know what I mean? It's really just about being different.
And then if you do like trap music, just do the trap music. If you
But
like,
approach it differently than what somebody else is.
But what if you can't? Still do you.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to be like anyone else, and don't try to go outside of what you know is best for you. That's like when I said last week that the same way that I will never sing like Kim Burrell, you will never sing like me.
Listen.
Like, I ain't out here trying to sing like Tone. It would be wonderful if I could. It's not going to happen.
Right.
The only person I know I can sound like is A Natural, and he just likes to borrow from a few other people. That's what I do. But I'm not going to be out here trying to be like nobody else, or try to get my visuals like nobody else, or get whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm going to be A Natural. And if the people like it, then I'm going to keep giving it to them.
Amen. And that's just it.
Yeah.
That is just it.
Amen.
So, you guys, we are down to our last 9 minutes.
Want to do some church announcements?
So, yes. What we got coming up? Thursday at 7.
If y'all missed it last week, y'all missed an experience, by the way.
Right. Oh, thanks.
It was dope.
I just said right instantly, and I was like, wait, I just heard you. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're experimenting with this live concert type venue, and we're trying to, see what we can do to make it really work, because I really believe that this is going to be close to the next wave that is about to happen, because I don't really believe that venues are really going to open until like next year. So we got to make best use of what we have. So I'm doing the social media tour that is at 7 o'clock on Thursday on IG. And then there'll be certain announcements after that too as well. And yeah, and don't miss Tired Tuesdays next week at 6 p.m.
Yes, I have just released a brand new EP called Conversations with God. It came out on Friday.
Get that.
Yeah, it was just something I needed to do, and it's done. So if you want it, it's there. No pressure. And you know what? I think I'm a little inspired to maybe do another show. It's not anytime soon, but maybe, maybe next month if I feel like in my spirit I need to sing something live.
Yeah.
We might do something.
Right.
And what else do we need to announce? Yes, Tired Tuesdays. We have something very, very special planned for you guys at the end of June.
Yes.
And it's something really, really, really dope to kind of wrap up this Corona edition season that we've been doing.
Right.
And I'm just gonna tell them now, like we're gonna wrap the season. So there's gonna be some time where you won't see us live on Tuesdays, but we're gonna be coming back very, very strong for season 3. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the season finale. We got something really special planned for you guys.
Yeah, I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it.
It's gonna be dope. So make sure you guys tell a friend and tune in.
Right.
And then there's some other things that is happening too, but I'm not gonna say nothing.
Right. There's stuff coming. There's more tricks and stuff.
You know how people like when they lie about something or they don't want to tell the whole truth, they raise their voice that high. So
right.
Oh my God. But there's a lot of good stuff going on. Next week we have the debut single from our dude Trez Larry. I can't wait for y'all to hear this. I helped him out.
I'm so excited about that.
I helped him out with some additional production and mixing for the record. It's going to be dope. It's a lot of good stuff happening.
Yeah.
Is that my Daria? Yes, it is. She came in.
Oh, Daria.
Daria. And yeah, there's just a lot of good stuff happening. We're going to try to keep you guys updated on everything that's going on. Because even though everybody's home and even though we talked about not doing the most, we kind of still are doing the most.
Yeah.
But, it's the stuff to get us by as we're all dealing with the same thing right now. So.
And I might drop a song. I'm thinking about it. Throwing it out there.
Okay. Things are happening. Everybody just pay attention. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put Tired Tuesdays in your notifications.
Yes.
Also, put us in your notifications as well.
Follow all 3 pages.
Yeah, exactly. because there's some beautiful things about to emerge.
Amen.
Oh snap! Daria might drop one too. Okay.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We are independent artists, and we can do whatever we want.
Okay, whenever we want.
Whenever we want.
However we want.
However.
Wherever we want. If we got the money. That's the only stipulation there.
But even still, I mean, it's not even expensive to do this thing anymore. Like, if you really think about it, everybody got money from somewhere. Everybody on DistroKid, everybody on TuneCore.
It's easy to put the music out.
Put it up.
It's easy to put the music out. It's more difficult to promote the music and try to get it out to new ears. That's the part that becomes the challenge. It's easy to do the music, record the music, put the music up, So yeah.
I agree with Lenny's mom. Please do the most. You will see that we are doing the most.
Yeah.
So that being said, we don't have to stretch it to 7, do we? We could just say goodnight.
No, we're good.
Okay, well, we love
you guys.
y'all.
Thank you so much for joining us again on this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you got something from it. We hope it blessed your heart. You know what I mean?
What up, D-Roy? If anyone knows of a barber that does not have the coronavirus, I don't have it either. So please contact me. I'm serious because this needs to happen. This is a whole forest going on in my head.
Oh man, I'm actually starting to learn to like all the growth.
I just want the sides. That's all.
Right now.
I just need somebody to shave the sides now, and I'll be okay.
Got you. What up, D-Roy? All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, and we will see you next Tuesday at 6.
Amen. We'll see you on Thursday on IG, on Lenny's IG for his show.
Word. Say that.
And that is it. Mom said, "Don't go." I got to go. I got to visit another room in my house and pay a visit. Yeah.
Right. He got to drop some kids off at the pool.
I don't have no kids. Just got to go to the pool. That's all. Just got to go.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Love y'all for watching. Thank you.
I'm ending it right there.
Yes.